Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we'll be reviewing the new Toyota Tacoma Trailhunter. Before we get into this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Brent Brown Toyota here in Orem for giving me some time with this Trailhunter. I'll include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check what they have currently. I'll also include a link to my car buying guide as well. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a turbocharged 2.4 liter 4-cylinder that is paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission and a hybrid. Fuel economy is 22 around town and then 24 on the highway, with power outputs being 326 horsepower and then 465 pound-feet of torque. Before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So the front end of the Trailhunter I think looks really sharp for a number of reasons. So first off, the new Tacoma hood design, it's just cool looking. And then same thing with the headlight design. You got the sequential turn signal, which is pretty cool. Bronze Heritage Toyota logo. You actually have a little light bar below the logo. And then you guys can see the rigid fog lights here at the bottom. And then we've got this more aggressive approach angle skid plate protection underneath as well. And so yeah, just like the TRD Pro, it's got this beefy look. Now when it comes to tire and wheel setup, it is 265 by 70 by 18 in the front and over in the rear. And you've got these wheels that are specific to the Trailhunter. Again, bronze is the color of this truck. I think they look really cool. And it's surprising to see just how not aggressive, I guess, these tires are. They're not bad, but it's just very interesting to see. Anyways, underneath you guys can see it says Trailhunter right there. We've got the Old Man Emu suspension with this, which is better for overland purposes. And then this is unpainted, so if you're going to scratch against brush and all that, no worries. iForce Max. Notice we've got a raised air intake, and you can see that it's faced backwards, so it's actually functional. Got the Trailhunter badge here. We've got rock rail protection as well, so you can see a lot of stuff leads to cool looks, but it's also functional. Speaking of functional, you can see we've got a chase rack here on the back, so you can add more light bar action and you can attach stuff to the rack as well. And then here's a quick look at that Old Man Emu suspension setup. A little bit more of it. And then you guys can see the lighting here. That's pretty cool on the side. Love the taillight design. And then we also have the tailgate's automatic. You've got extra power here in the back, which is great. That's so cool. And then we also have an air compressor built in from the factory. We've got an outlet as well, composite bed. So yeah, this is really set up. I'm liking this package. It's automatic with the tailgate. You just gotta kind of go into it with your leg. You got the ARB rear bumper. This is the same bumper that's on the TRD Pro, funny enough. You see the recovery points there. And yeah, that's the rest of the exterior. Let me guys think about the looks, but I really dig the looks of the Trailhunter. And this now leads us inside. The interior on this is really cool as well. So you can see the stitching that goes across. This is cool with this trim piece. And then you can see with these seats here, really cool trim down the center and on the side. One downside being the hybrid, you don't have the underseat storage because of the battery situation. And then you actually do have more legroom than the TRD Pro. These back seats are actually usable, but still mid-size pickup trucks. It's not massive back here. Notice we do have a bunch of outlets there in the back as well. But yeah, pretty normal mid-size pickup truck back seat area, so see ya. And this leads us up front. So you guys can see here with the stitching and soft touch Trailhunter down below. All of our window controls here, mirror adjustments. The mirrors do have blind spot monitoring. It's like car mirrors almost. And then payload is 1215. Here's the front seat, really cool with the design. I wonder how easy this would be to clean with all the perforations. Adjustments on the side, by the way, and then we've got a bunch of controls here. So you can see for auxiliary items if you want to add that to it. And then you can see here for the light bar, there's an individual switch, and then also for the fog lights as well. And again, cool trim there. Now here's a quick look at the steering wheel. We've got nice trim all around. You got this like stitching here on the airbag cover. It's not real, but it looks nice at least. So it's perforated on either side so you can get better grip. You've got a bunch of practical controls here on the front, including for like your adaptive cruise control, your lane centering, You've got for the volume and voice command controls, we've got traditional stocks here on the back as well. And look at this, we've got a full digital gauge cluster, which we can use to change what information it actually shows, which, I don't know, pretty cool, pretty customizable. And then we also have our drive mode select. So we've got these are our on-road modes. We also have multi-train select with off-road modes as well. I'll show you guys the dial in a little bit. Now this has Toyota's 360 camera system. It's a really good camera system. Even has a bed view, which is nice. But yeah, exterior shots all around, good resolution. It's easy to use, and you have an off-road mode too, which is nice that it shows the inclinometer. All that. I hope more manufacturers kind of copy Toyota's setup here, because this is useful. Now, as for the rest of the infotainment system, quick response time with the screen. So that's great, easy enough to use. And it does have that tablet look, but the trim around is really cool. Notice it says Toyota right there. Got a little storage above the glove box, and then you got this nice trim on the outside of the glove box. And then, of course, pretty big storage space in. I'm still trying to figure out why Toyota engineered the Tacoma glove boxes to do that. Anywho, we've got our volume control, dual zone climate, heated and ventilated seats, heated steering wheel, so you got all the luxury features with this. And then you got our wireless phone charging pad with some USBs. Shifter here for the 8-speed automatic transmission. It's kind of hard to see, but we got the parking brake and auto hold. And then our drive line select, so just traditional 2-speed transfer case. There's no 4-wheel drive auto with this. We do have our multi-train select here, crawl control, tow haul mode, all of that built in. Trailer backup assistant, got camera view, rear locking differential, stabilizer bar, disconnect. This obviously comes with Toyota's advanced traction control system as well. Got the grab handle there, some cup holders. Pretty good storage space there. I like the trim here on the top, it's very nice. Camera rear view mirror, and then we do have a power sliding rear window. And no sunroof with this. So here's a quick look at the window sticker of the Trailhunter. You can see that pretty much everything's standard equipment, and this shows you a lot of the stuff that, well, it says unique Trailhunter content comes with the package, which is great. But you can see the base MSRP there, and then total MSRP down below, $64,879. Sum things up. Safety first, even though we're not going far. So I can't do a full review on this particular Trailhunter. I've actually reached out to Toyota, and it is going to take some time to get some of these new vehicles to Utah as demo cars. I'm not trying to throw shade at anyone, but we share a region with Colorado in terms of journalism, and the Colorado journalists tend to beat up the cars pretty well. So when I reached out to Toyota and asked them, several vehicles like, Land Cruiser, Tacoma, all that, they told me that some of the vehicles will be available at a later date, but they have to get repaired first because they've been damaged. So again, it happens. I understand. That's, journalists doing some journalism, right? I won't complain, but it just means that it'll take some time for me to get a full review on one of these. So just stay tuned for that. But I am going to take this back to its parking space, so we'll get that done. And that's what I don't know if you guys saw that Land Cruiser had the forward-facing raised air intake. That doesn't talk about the useless ones. Like, that's completely useless. You're still going to get dust in because it's face forward. When it's reversed, then it actually prevents dust from getting in. But yeah, this has the same engine as the new Land Cruiser, as the TRD Pro, so I'm pretty familiar with this engine. It's super torquey, and you get cool here. I can't roll down the window because the window tint. You get cool turbo noise. Just listen. It's like a turbo flutter. If you've driven a sporty car, like with a blow-off valve, it kind of sounds like that. It's pretty prominent, and it adds to the fun. It definitely adds to the fun of the Trailhunter. And I'm not gonna be able to tell you guys too much about the suspension. What I will say is I drove that TRD Pro, my friend Sam's, and damping was really good. It was very Raptor-like. This, it feels firmer. This kind of reminds me more of the setup that Bilstein does in a lot of vehicles, where it's all about firm and controlled, so it's not so floaty, right? Like the Fox shocks are kind of like, ooh. This, it's more firm, it's more tank-like. So some of you might like that, some of you might not. It just depends. I will say this setup is definitely, when it's firmer like this, it's better for overlanding, because you have more control, right? With overlanding, you're going down a trail, like here. With overlanding, you're going down a trail that you might not perfectly know. And so when you have firm suspension, if something happens, it's easier to control the vehicle. Whereas if you're really floaty, it's great if you have a pretty good idea of what the trail is gonna have. And you know, obviously that suspension can take big bumps and all that kind of stuff. But if something abrupt happens, right, the vehicle will dip a little bit more. Sometimes it's a little bit harder to wrangle it back in. So there's just an inherent benefit to having a little bit firmer shocks, again, from an overlanding perspective. And plus, less head bob when you're going over rocks and everything. So it all helps out. It all helps out with overlanding that's generally slower and more unknown territory. So let me know, guys, think about the Tacoma Trailhunter. Obviously this isn't a lot of time with it, but with the kit that this has and the practicality in the back seats, I think this is going to outsell the TRD Pro. Maybe they'll both probably be sold out for some time, but I think more people are going to want the Trailhunter just because of, like I said, the kit it has. It seems like it's a better value than the TRD Pro, if I'm being honest. And it looks really cool. So yeah, I think that this is probably this is peak Tacoma for this generation, which is funny because TRD Pro has always been like the name, and now it looks like Trailhunter probably surpassed TRD Pro. Who would have thought?